And then at the same time, people have to take some action by themselves. Let this process continue. It will politicize the process, and then the politicians are going to have to take a position. Whose side are they on? Let's say even that process doesn't work, because this is the way it has been. They make deals in the Senate and the Congress and the parliaments and so on, and people are sidelined. People don't know. They set up these committees and so on, and GAO or this, that committee, all kinds of things, and the United Nations committees. This is all a ruse. This is a farce. Okay, let's say it'll take number of years to go through the process, the legal process and the political process. The third option is that people should say, we want to grow our own food. And here's how we want to grow. We want to grow in our own private gardens, community gardens, in churches, in temples, religious places, free land, municipal lands, and schoolyards. And we want our children to be educated our way, the PTAs, and everybody gets involved. We want our children to be taught food production in schoolyards. It should be a compulsory course, part of the curriculum. All education, which is all theoretical right now, and children get bored and leave school and so on, it should be all around growing food from age 5 to 18. Everything they learn, whether it's counting, whether it's sprouting, whether it's harvesting, whether it's eating, whether it's solar system, greenhouses, whatever, it should all be taught in practical terms in schoolyards. Schoolyards should become the living laboratory. And then there should be extension of that. There should be community gardens, and in the schools, same places, municipalities, green municipalities, they're collecting all this green waste. They're making compost that can be delivered there. It will be a community effort to take charge of their own food supply. A lot of that is beginning to happen, but I am saying move it to the local school board and municipal politics. Detroit is one city where this experiment is being tried, because this is a city which has been destroyed because of corruption in the automotive industries and the banks and so on. So one man took charge of one school, turned into a farm school, and the mayor said, let's turn the others, because people had nothing else to eat. They lost their homes. Where were they going to go? So they're saying, let's do something on us. Well, why not Chicago? Why not New York? Why not New Jersey? Why not Toronto? Why not Ottawa, Calgary, Delhi, Bombay? In the suburbs of all these, even urban centers, there is land, there are schools, and that can be utilized for food production. Already there's too much food in the world, but this will be healthy food. It'll improve people's health. Children will be off the streets. Children will be taken care of in schools. Right now, parents are always afraid, criminals luring them away and so on. This will be, grandparents will be there. Everybody will be there. This is the Gandhian approach to education, which unfortunately the man got killed too soon. And the ideas that I'm exploring are stolen from him. I'm saying this should be implemented. I've traveled all over the world in the last couple of years, Australia, New Zealand, India, the United States, Canada, everywhere, giving lectures, but it's not having an effect. But I'm not, even though now I'm 76 years of age, I still have a lot of energy. I'm not one who gives up. So this summer, for a change, for the first time in my life, I had the whole summer free to myself. I didn't have to go to work. I didn't have to go to court fighting my dismissal. So I took charge of my own land, and my 5 grandchildren. I'm using recycled materials because everybody talks about raised gardens. I got a lot of windows in my house changed last year. And they said, what do we do with these windows? Take them away. I said, you take away the glass, leave me the frames. These are vinyl frames. They've been on the windows for 25 years. Now, some of them were on the ground and they don't rot, nothing happens. So I put them on the ground and I put filter cloth underneath, filled them up with garden soil, and I planted my garden. And I brought my 5 grandchildren, handed over my little tractor, and they're all working with me for the whole summer. Now, I've started to talk about it outside. The Canadian Organic Growers Association had been approaching me to go and give a talk. I said, no, I'm tired of giving talks. You come to me. I want your help. So they're coming to see me in a week, and I want to show them my garden because they are dedicated to helping people grow organic food. So I want to show them what I've done. I sit on a piece of land. It's about 5 or 6 acres, which only was grass. Instead of cutting grass, I'm turning that into a garden. So I'm saying I could feed a lot of people. Just come and help me. And so they're going to come and help me do this. Once I have this, it's an experimental garden that I've set up in a very scientific way. And my grandchildren working with me, and I want to turn this into a school project and a demonstration project. So then I've already talked to some local politicians who are willing and say, okay, can we then take it to our local municipality and the school board, and can we work on this process? And in India, I'm telling the NGOs to hold a national or international conference for education reform and curriculum reform, because it's important why India is critical in this. Many US, Canadian, and Australian and British universities have made a deal with India to open branches in India from Harvard, McGill, big Ivy League universities in India, because it's too expensive to run those universities here. So they want to do that in India. But then they say there has to be there's a condition. And that condition is that India's high school graduates must all be given a standard curriculum. And so the government of India has brought in a new Education Act, 150 years later. The last Education Act was passed during the British time in 1835. And now the Indian government is saying they're going to revise that. And for pre-university students, there should be a standardized curriculum of English, math, and science. And I'm saying add one more subject, that we want to add to elementary schools that all the freehold land in villages in the care of village councils and schools should grow food attached to the schools, and children should be critical part of it. And so utilize that workforce without calling it labor. It's not child labor. It's part of their education. They will grow up to be healthy children. They will get free food. They will never go hungry, and they will be able to sell excess. If we start doing this, food can be taken out of the